Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest Chapter 195 is officially out, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a big fan of this chapter because it literally just left us with a tease, a hype moment, and ends in a way that I wish it didn't, or at least lasted longer. Because this chapter embodies a lot of what I don't like about 100 Years Quest, and while it's not terrible, it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth for the most part. I do have some positives, and I will explain something that happens at the end of the chapter with Elfman, and my speculations on how things go with that. But before we jump into the actual review, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel. It shows you want to see more. And if you want to see more of me, go and check out my manga podcast, Shonen Pulse, on the Pano Focus YouTube channel, where me, Nox, Papa Trafi, and Yadogami talk about 9 different manga from 3 separate magazines. It's a lot of fun. We have really great discussions over there, and you guys will definitely enjoy it. Link to that will be in the description down below. And while you're down there, don't forget to check out my second channel, GW Comics, where I talk about American comic books. Right now, I'm going to be primarily DC focused, but I'm going to try and go into some other stuff like Image Comics and Ninja Turtles. So go and check that out. It's a passion project of mine, and I think you guys will really enjoy what I have there. But with that out of the way, let's jump right into this chapter of 100 Years Quest. So, chapter 195 of Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, titled Love is Man. Yes, if you can't tell from the chapter, it is literally an Elfman chapter, since that is his catchphrase. Now, one thing I do like about this chapter is we get a bit of an update on the location, basically, of all the characters, like a little mini map. Whenever we get these types of things in any series, I always enjoy it. So, and we also have like the actual crests, emblems for the 3 parties involved. We have Team Fairy Tail, which obviously is a Fairy Tail emblem. Team Ignia, who is just given with the Fire and Flame emblem, or Ignia's fire emblem that is on his chest. And finally, Team Ferris, who has these Black Dragon acnologia icons, which honestly look very, very cool. And now we see everyone's locations. We have all the fights going on Alderaan, with Ferris on her way there. Team Natsu is in a safe, faraway place. Emphasis on safe, since it's not technically safe. I guess it's because they're not fighting anybody. There is the Blood Calamities, who are in an underground cavern. And lastly, Natsu, Bestia, and Ignia in Bestia's dimension. So, I guess it was nice just to have another, like, recap of where everyone is, despite the last few chapters just reinforcing that, but either way, it is what it is. Now, we begin the chapter from a really good cliffhanger from last chapter, where Ignia appears within Bestia's dimension to meet Natsu. The two of them lock eyes, and Natsu gets a grin on his face as he jumps up into the air with a flaming fist to clash with Ignia. And Ignia once again catches Natsu's fist without much of an effort, but tells Natsu that there's no need to rush things, as he's gonna kill him for last. But Natsu says, no, I'm gonna take you down right here, right now. I just want to go back to the guild hall after getting all this over with. But Ignia snaps his fingers, saying that he's not here to fight him, as Bestia then conjures a giant fireball around Natsu, as he's beginning to have his movements completely sealed, with these bizarre flames that Natsu says he can't even eat them. We'll circle back to that because I have thoughts on that really quick, but either way, Ignia says that as a fellow son of Igniel, I wanted to show you this, as he uses his fire magic to create multiple windows of flames that show him what's going on across Giltina, showcasing the battle against Ferris and their demons, what's going on with Diablos, what's going on with his friends, and the rest of citizens in Giltina. So, Natsu is obviously concerned after seeing what's going on right here, as we see glimpses of Lucy, Alderaan versus Celine, which, again, we better get an actual couple of chapters showing that actual fight instead of just brief glimpses, because, my god, we have been teased with Dragon God fights so many times in the series that I want a full fight right now. That aside, the dark earth magic that has been traversing across the continent is continuously turning people into dragons. As Ignia says, go ahead and cry in despair at your own powerlessness, saying that he'll be back later. And Natsu's trying to get him to stay and doesn't want him to leave, as Natsu says he's not going to cry or despair, as he's going to just basically break free. But now Natsu is alone with Bestia in her dimension, as Natsu is wondering where they are, with Bestia saying that it is a dimension of her own creation. But then Natsu looks at the flames and realizes, oh wait, I can eat the fire. Which shocks Beastie as she's like, wait, you can do that? Don't eat my flames. What are you doing? Okay, so really quick, something I originally thought, but quickly dismissed, was maybe Natsu emptied out his magic reserves and tried to eat the flames like he did on Tenro Island when he ate the black god flames that Zonkro did. I thought that was what was going to happen, and that's why he's going to eat these flames, but no, I guess there's just some trick to eating it or whatever, as, yeah, I'm not sure why he said he couldn't eat them, but now he can eat them. Either this is a plot hole or just an inconsistency, I can't tell you, but it's kind of confusing if I'm being honest with you. But Natsu says that they're delicious anyway, as he continues to eat Beastia's flames, which is something that he was originally going to do thanks to Misfortune telling him about Beastia's flames, so Natsu's going to get a power-up. The one thing that did interest me this chapter was Ignia showing up, taunting Natsu, trapping him in this space with Beastia and her fire, and having him look in despair at his friends turning into dragons, and them seemingly about to lose, quote-unquote, the fight against him and his forces, and against the great Universe Omega spell. My theory, like many others, is that Ignia's definitely trying to get Natsu to go all out. One, for the fact that he wants him to go into despair, but also left him alone with Beastia, who Misfortune said that her flames would help unlock his true power. So it's very likely that Ignia has some sort of inkling of Natsu's real firepower and wants to draw that out to its maximum potential, and that's why he separated him from everybody else, saying that he'll kill Natsu last. That is really the only explanation why he would bring Natsu to another dimension, trap him here, and say he'll leave him last, and just taunt him and goad him on, and have him look on as everybody's basically being turned into dragons by his massive spell. I'm curious to see where this is going to lead, if I'm being honest, but this is just a massive blue ball to leave us off at. Who knows? Maybe this will unleash Natsu's true powers, and then we'll get to see Ignia at a later point in this arc, but yeah, I still have my reservations. Natsu ends up asking about the black stuff that's emitting from Alderaan as we zoom in on that. And Beastia basically explains that the black magic emanating from Alderaan is transforming the continent into a land of dragons, as we established previously, that whole thing is basically the epicenter of the Universal Mega spell, turning everyone into dragons. As we then see Elfman is currently fighting Gaia, as Natsu shouts out to Elfman to watch out. And then Elfman and Gaia headbutt each other, knocking Elfman back, saying that he's got a very hard head. As Gaia just says, love is indestructible. But yeah, I just love how Elfman just tells Richard on the side that Gaia is stealing his whole love shtick. As Gaia charges forward, and the two of them are in a deadlock, holding each other in place. But Gaia then asks Elfman the question what love means to him, as he basically just says that he loves his sisters and Evergreen. But he changes the subject the second he thinks about her. I mean, look, we all know the two of them are together at this point, it's obvious. But he just says he loves all his guildmates. But Gaia says, and interrupts, Elfman says that his love is a devotion to Lady Ferris, as this pushes Elfman back. Also, I don't know if this is a translation error or there was something going on with the dialogue, but Elfman says he loves his sister and Lizana, even though they're both his sisters. I don't know what the translation was on that, but I don't know. It just feels like a jab at Lizana, as almost like she's not his sister. That's all I'm getting from that translation. It just feels weird and awkward in my opinion. But Elfman's knocked down to the ground as Gaia jumps into the air, saying that he's going to be judged in the name of love, and unleashes the love annihilation, just earth eruption attack that he used to take down Richard in their fight. But as Elfman gets engulfed in this, he ends up jumping into the air with a brand new Beast Soul transformation, Sirius. And this, obviously, it looks just like the transformation that AG uses in Dead Rock, which, go read Dead Rock. I have an entire playlist where I talk about this manga, so if you want to catch up on it before the next chapter releases in a couple of days, with probably the day this video comes out, or the weekend this video comes out, go and do that. It's a really great read if you want something different from Mashima. But yeah, the design's cool, a bit updated for the series, and I love how it's called Sirius, because it's definitely a callback to Tenro Island, because in the manga it's also called Sirius Island, and that was also in the manga what the guardian, quote-unquote, of Tenro is supposed to be called. And Elfman even says that this beast lives on Fairy Tail's sacred ground, as he climbs up the rubble from the attack and lunges towards Gaia, saying that what love is man. And Elfman then goes on to try and take on an attack on Gaia, which just, yeah, obviously Richard and Gaia are like, that's definitely not what that means. But Elfman then lands a vermilion glow claw strike right at Gaia, seemingly taking him down. As Elfman undoes his Beast Soul transformation, as Richard asks him how he was able to take over a powerful beast like that. With Elfman giving an answer that pisses me off to no end, saying he just came right from my imagination, as he laughs, and Natsu just laughs alongside Elfman, looking at the fight as he won, saying that Bestia's friends are a riot. But Bestia says, yeah, those guys ain't my friends, by the way, as that's how we end the chapter. So, let's get this out of the way. First off, the serious Beast Soul transformation. Cool, badass. I like that form when Eiji took it in Dead Rock, and I like that Mashima brought it in from here to kind of show it off. There's also like subtle, promotion for Dead Rock, like he did when he had Hein in this series when Raj was introduced with the illusion against Grey. But the issue, and I'm sure many of you have with this transformation, is the fact that Elfman just said, the transformation came from my imagination. Also, this fight barely lasted half a chapter. This is less than Juvia's fight. Juvia having one chapter, while I hated that it was short, the way it was done was actually really good, and it was an enjoyable fight. Elfman's fight was literally just him getting headbutted, thrown away, hit with an attack, jumps up with a new form, and this is the one time I'll say, this was a literal one-shot with a brand new transformation, with no real fighting build-up. At least with Juvia's, it was a legitimate actual fight. This was nothing. This was just a big punch at the end of the day, and yeah, I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed, because at the very least, one full chapter should have gone to this whole fight, if not 2 chapters, like I've always been saying. But to cap this short fight off with such a stupid response as to how Elfman got this new form, because we were all expecting a brand new beast form from Elfman to show off. And while it was cool, and also the Vermilion Claw is a nice callback to Mavis as an homage to Mavis, the first master, since her last name is Vermilion, how Elfman got this form, the explanation is stupid. Now, this goes into one of 4 ways. One, like Elfman said, he just came up with it right away, and this ignores all the rules of Beast Soul transformation and takeover magic in general. Which, if that is actually true, I am going to be very pissed, more so than I am right now. But there are other real explanations for why he has this form, mainly 2 that I actually kind of like, and that is either A, he managed to merge 2 different Beast Souls that he had together, making a brand new addition to how Beast Takeover magic works, allowing him to use 2 different takeovers at once to create a new mix, which would really make things interesting and more varied, giving him more variety in his transformations and basically covers some weaknesses, which I'm giving credit for that. I hope that's the case, but I kind of doubt it, but it would be really cool. It would set up the potential for Mira, who will most likely debut a new form in her fight, maybe merge it with some other of her demon takeovers to make a brand new one. That would be really cool and really amazing, and add an extra layer to an ability that these characters have in common, and make it feel more varied and adds more to it. Adds more versatility and utilization. Another one that people have brought up, what if Elfman met Rusty Rose in the time frame from, the older own arc and now, and Rusty Rose basically came up with this brand new transformation off the fly, and Elfman took over that whole big imaginary thing from the Arc of Embodiment that Rusty Rose made to add a new takeover to his versatility, which is where the imagination comes into it. Either that or Elfman somehow off-screen also learned Arc of Embodiment, for an instance, and combined that with Beast Soul to just automatically take over a brand new Beast transformation, but I don't like that either. Either he combines 2 Beast Souls into one, or he met Rusty Rose and took over a new whole transformation that Rusty Rose came up with the Arc of Embodiment. Both of those would be great, because A, it brings Rusty Rose back into the story and will explain how, well, Elfman got this transformation, but I like the Beast Soul combination one more. That would be really cool if that was the case. Unfortunately, I feel like the original thing that Elfman said, that he just came up with it in his imagination, and it just happened, that contradicts a lot of stuff that happens with Beast Takeover Magic, might actually just be the case, and it just shows maybe Elfman's fight just wanted to get over with. I really hope that when the anime comes back, it expands on all these fights, because at this point, Mira and Gajeel are the only ones that deserve to have these big fights now. I swear, if Mira and especially Gajeel have one or less chapters for their fights against these opponents, I'm going to consider this arc practically a lost cause. I'm not going to lie. Even the hype of the Calamity Bloods might not save it if they have good fights. I'll be straight up with you guys. But that's my opinion on this chapter. We got Blue Balled with Ignia versus Natsu, with the potential setup, at least, for Natsu to get stronger by eating Bestious Flames. That was set up earlier in this arc. Elfman won basically in one hit with a brand new transformation that I really wanted a cooler explanation for how he got it. The homage to Dead Rock and Mavis and Tenro Island is great. It's awesome. It's memorable. And the artwork for that was really damn cool. The fight should have been longer, and we should have had a better explanation for the form. And this was definitely a major disappointment in this arc, in my opinion, and kind of embodies a lot of stuff that I don't like about this, about 100 Years Quest. The constant shifting of perspectives, the blue balling of fights that could happen, and shortening of fights that should be longer, and weird explanations for some powers and abilities that aren't properly explained. But again, my hope will only be fully lost in this arc if Gajeel's fight, Mira's fight, and especially Selene versus Alderaan are less than a chapter long, if we actually get focused on them soon, before this arc concludes and whatever happens next. But you guys let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments section down below. What did you think of this chapter? Were you as disappointed as I am, or did you actually like this chapter and you're hyped for what happens next? I'm still excited for the future fights, but I really hope that they're done well. And leave your thoughts, opinions, and theories on what could happen with Natsu in the other dimension and what's going on with the Dragonification of the rest of the main cast. Let me know. And if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. And with all that said and done, hope you all have an awesome day.